What's going on, family? What's going on? What's going down? What's shaking? Welcome to another episode of Super Black Comic Book Reviews by Jonathan Soul. Now, I got a groovy digital comic I want y'all to check out. It's called Byala or Byala. You know how black people be coming up with these names, man. It's another space opera coming from MidasMonkey.com over there with Paul Louis Julie. As you can see, I mean, this is, artwork is there, obviously. The character design. It's a really groovy piece of art that we're about to get into. Now, this is the teaser comic, okay? 25 pages. I believe it's $5. Let's go over to Midas Monkey. Let's see here. Click on books. And we're going to scroll down to Byala. Yep. So $4.99. All right, and you can get an ebook, the comic book reader format, and PDF, and obviously, you can play it on your iPhone. I mean your tablet device. All right, let's get into it. So, the first thing I want y'all to notice, and this is something that'll be a reoccurring theme throughout books from Midas Monkey, is the drastic change in color palette. For the artistic types among you, this is something that you'll see a lot. So, we go into this groovy color palette right now. We're looking at not a dream sequence. And, this is probably my third time doing this review because different things happen. And I thought about it. I said, this isn't really a dream sequence as much as it is an out-of-body experience, okay? This is, I'm just going to call her B, because I hate fucking up characters or artist names. So B is having a challenge with this deity while she's out of the body. Okay, I got books and books on out of body experiences, and her astral projected vibration is in a conversation with the sunken goddess. Okay, and so what's this all about? And the spirit world never seems to just tell you straight up. They always hit you with riddles, innuendos, that kind of a thing. But, eventually she's saying that the darkness is coming and you're going to come to me under the ocean, okay? Under the sea. All right, so now, remember I told you about that drastic change in color palette? So now she wakes up. Now, what do we know about B right now? What we know is that she's married. And we also know that her and her husband was in the military, and she's in the military, but she's a scout essentially. She does, recon, but she wants to be on the front lines, and they kind of have an argument, not a really argument, but a strong disagreement. And he basically kind of lays it out on the line. He said, "Listen, I've been out there and I lost my whole unit." And I don't want you out there. Now, any strong man, any real man, any classic man wants to protect this woman. That's just in our bones. And no societal trends, bullshit, hashtags can change that. Okay? If that wasn't the case, humankind wouldn't be here. Trust me. All right? So anyway, they go through their changes. Now, bam, look at this change in the color palette. Okay, look at this change. So this is the cityscape. Where are we? All right, so we're in, this is Zeta, obviously. You can see the screen. And so these are the ops. Okay, these are the people that they're fighting. All right. Now, again, I always love the color palette changes, and I enjoy the character design. Now, what you're going to realize about Paul, and you'd only really notice if you bought a lot of his books or you've listened to any one of I think I maybe did 3 interviews with the brother. West Africa is like heavy, very salient in his in his design aesthetic. Okay, West Africa. So you're gonna see, the mass motif. It's gonna appear as people's faces. It's gonna appear as ship design. You're gonna see buildings in the round. You're gonna see a lot of stuff that is really has a West African influence. I remember one conversation I had with him. And long story short, his people is from, I think he was born in France, or he stayed at some period in France. He's very fluent in French. and but his people is from West Africa. Long story short, visited some family, got in a conversation with an elder, and the elder started breaking down to him all of this stuff about, like fables in Africa and history. I mean, I didn't know there were dragons in African lore. I didn't know that there were, all kinds of creatures and aliens and otherworldly people. I didn't know none of that shit. And so this kind of comes to bear when we look at the projects that he's working on. And so that's what's going on here. So long story short, and I want to do the whole book because it's a teaser, and of course I want you to buy it. But what happens is the military cat who's in charge of the platoon that B is involved in, he's saying, "Listen, we got a few patrol runs today, blah blah blah. Just a routine sweep. Our recon pros picked up some anomalies below the surface." So there's the intrigue. Okay, so that's what's going on. And so she's got that going on, and then of course her friend is picking up on some of the, and this is the other panel, some of the issues that maybe her and hubby might be having, and different things like that. So there's a lot of different threads running throughout the story. So anyway, boom, you see that change in color palettes, and now they're in the I guess you call it the hangar where the ships are, and they're about to suit up and everything like that. So this is the kind of stuff that I enjoy, because only African American or African person is gonna kind of tap into the West African aesthetic in the way that Paul does. You know what I'm saying? It's like, have you noticed there are no spears? Not to go on a rant or anything, but I remember years ago when they first teased the Black Panther movie, and y'all remember the song, dun 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 dun. You know what I mean? Y'all remember that? And motherfuckers was crying on YouTube. Oh my God, I've never seen anything. I was doing my show back then. And it was like, we never seen nothing like this. Oh my God, oh my God. So we gotta wait for Hollywood to show us, you know what I mean? No, baby, we can make shit too. And it's good stuff. And this is what you're gonna get when you support the people that, that I'm talking about here. I focus on African people who are making comics. My mission is very simple. You know how they had the prime directive in Star Trek, not to you travel but you don't interfere. My thing is to travel through the spaceways of the African creative sci-fi comic book space. And meet these different societies and life forms and cultures and civilizations, and report back to you guys so you can pick them up. Now I can't show you on my little iPad, but this is an aside based on the trauma that's going on in America right now. Some people are talking about, on Juneteenth, which is, I record this, is tomorrow. We should buy from black businesses. So this is a reaction to, that's mental illness, fam. Buying black should be a way of life. You should always be looking for some way to replace whoever you buying from with a black business. Because let's be honest, besides the police being fucking state-sponsored terrorists, it's gone. In the 80s, in the area where I lived, back then it was brutality. That's when they whipped your ass, but you made it home. Now it's just straight murder. It's just terrorism. But a lot of the brothers, not all, but a lot of the brothers who've been filmed were in very dire economic circumstances. They're selling cigarettes or CDs in front of a place or whatever. And so one of the ways that some of us have been saved and protected from police terrorism is not being in abject poverty. And one of the ways that you can get out of poverty is by starting a business, and starting a business that people support. Then you got money to take care of your family. You don't have to sell cigarettes or do this, that, and the third, or whatever. Any place on planet Earth, the poor are abused. And one of the ways that you can escape some of the systematic abuse is by lifting yourself out of poverty. And so when we support these black businesses, this is our effort to protect them and their children from becoming, victims in a capitalistic system that only really grants rights to the capitalists. Of course, there's a class component here too, But anyway, I love you guys. Hope all your dreams come true. Quickly now, let's go over it. You go to Midas Monkey, and you can pick up this book and other ones. We reviewed the Pact on here. We reviewed Johansi. Looks like Johansi got a third volume coming out. And I think this is a compilation. I'm not sure. Maybe it's the number 4. So that. Wrapping up here. Go over to jonathansoul.com. That's my website. And you can look at all my podcasts because I interview these folks. If you want to know what makes these people tick. And, of course, since all this stuff is going on, I'm talking about the, how you handling under the quarantine and I don't want to necessarily, because some of us are tired of talking about this shit. You know what I mean? I've seen 3 cycles of this. I'm 51 years old. I've seen 3 cycles. So you're 51, you talk about comics? Hell yeah. You got to have an escape. I don't want to start smoking. You know what I'm saying? I'll start drinking, baby. You know what I mean? So if you want to see what the people are talking about and things like that, you go here. Now, if you want to support me, other than listening and sharing with your friends, hey, I found this dope, comic book review or podcast or whatever, you can go over to Amazon and you can buy my book. You remember the end of X-Files? He said, I did this. Remember that? I don't know if y'all remember. Y'all young, y'all don't remember nothing. But, yeah, I did this. And so you go in there and then it's 3 families. They escape to Mars. And then there's a brother who's left behind. He's an engineer. He builds networks or whatever. Ends up wandering through, the Middle East. Ends up in Palestine. It's a whole vibe. So and it's recession prices. See, it's $2.99, and of course it'll play on your Kindle app. So Kindle works for iPhone and Android. All right, love you guys. Hope all your dreams come true. Jonathan Soul, jonathansoul.com.